What is up, guys? Welcome back to Worship Plugged In. In this video, it's going to be very different than what you're accustomed to. I'm actually in my basement and I have my own little lab over here. It is a little messy at the moment, but bear with me. I've got a lot of things going on, but what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be going through the process of how I make my in-ear monitors, and it just might be interesting for you guys. Now, I want to start off by saying I have the shells already made right here, if it'll focus. These shells, so I'm in the process of making new shells, and I will go through that whole process with you guys, but I did want to mention that I will probably be using these shells that I already made, and the reason I made these is I'm actually by trade, what I do is I'm a licensed hearing aid specialist. So I work with ears, hearing aids, ear molds, and so this kind of set me up in a good way to be able to kind of do this on my own, trial and error. And I'm still learning it out, figuring things out, but here is the mold, what we're gonna start with. Now, if I had a better way to figure out to find drivers, then I would buy the drivers and then the circuit boards and solder everything myself. But since I have not been able to find a company yet to buy specifics from at a reasonable price, I have been buying, I believe they're just KZs is what they're called, on Amazon. And I will show you exactly the steps I take. But literally, why I like these KZs is because they actually have drivers like that look like receiver drivers. So some other in-ear monitors have like round like woofers for the bass, and these ones have the drivers. Plus these are packaged very nicely and make it very easy to transfer from this case to my ear molds, and I'll be able to do that very nicely. So alright guys, so this wax is starting to harden up, so I want to do this step really quick, but here's your ear impressions. You're going to try to hook them in such a way that you can dunk them and pull them out like that. So this is going to give you a good layer of wax to like thicken everything up, and we'll just disconnect that. Like I said, I'm borderline letting this wax get too hard, and so that's why I'm trying to go real quick. You want it still hot enough that the wax will drip off, and you can see where it's really white is just a little too thick. So fortunately for me, I've already done this process. That's how I got these shells here, but that's how you dip the investment there. So we will move this out of the way, and this is the wax that I use. It's just like this wax you melt up. It comes in like a big bag like that. All right. So unfortunately, I was not able to find the star screwdriver that I thought I had, so I had to use these and cut the heads of the bolts off. So That was kind of a bummer just because, you know, hate to make it a little messy that way, but once you cut that off, you'll notice that the plug will literally come out like that. Now, all we've got to do is kind of come in here, boom, and this whole unit, if it is going to do what I think it'll do, should slide out. And there may be some glue. Looks like there's some glue holding on the circuit board. But if you just break that, boom, look at that. So now we've taken this whole shell apart. These KZs are by far the easiest. I will link them in the description off of Amazon. I think they're like $70 if I recall, maybe 80. But these are by far the easiest to take out as one unit. I have done another brand. What brand? They might be KZs as well, but they were a different model. The ones that had a faceplate that looked like this. These were a pain, and I did 2 of them. Actually, I did a black pair and a blue pair. And let me tell you, that was the biggest pain doing that style, because it had like 7 or 8 drivers and they were all independently disconnected. This is by far the easiest. It comes out as one piece. So let's see how we're gonna make this fit now. This is the tricky part, where we are gonna have to grind away the internals as much as we can of this, and we're gonna have to, you know, just kind of weasel this whole thing in such a way that we can fit it. So I've got a very small ear myself, so getting this all to fit is going to be very, very tough, period. I might have to, chances are I'm going to have to grind some of this white, it's like a plastic, so I'll definitely have to grind some of this white plastic down, and that's just grind out the inside of this more. That's just the way it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and start grinding on the inside of this mold, and I'm not going to record that because, you know, it might take a while, but literally all you do is you've got a bit that looks like this, and I stick that on the Dremel, and I literally just go in and start grinding and try to get it as thin as possible without poking through. You do not want it to poke through. And then the very end process will be putting a hole through here, so everything comes out the tip of the canal there. So this is what we're looking for right here. See how I got everything grinded out, slid down. We've got the circuit board in a spot where we can stick it down in there, and then this is right where we will be attaching the cable for our wires. I alluded to it earlier, but we're gonna have to make the faceplate pretty thick, because as you can see, this is not under the, maybe you can tell, if you look here, you can see the electronics stick up past the top of the shell. So I'm gonna have to make, you know, a pretty thick faceplate. That way I can grind out the center of the faceplate to where we can fit over these humps here. So one thing I like to do is when it comes to faceplates, there's a couple different ways you can do it. The easiest way is to find some kind of, I think last time I used this plastic here, and I poured the material into here, and so there's enough here to make both face plates out of this one pour. So I'm gonna leave these right here. So we've got what we would call polymer right here. This is the powder. I'm almost out, so I hope I have enough. I should have enough to do this, and then you've got acrylic monomer is what we're going to use for the mixture. So let me get that mixed up for you. So here is a liquid monomer which I got from Hawks Hearing Health. I believe you have to be a hearing aid specialist or some kind of affiliation to be able to order through them and have an account and stuff, but that's where I get this from. You can also get it from like Walmart in like the nail section. It's just liquid monomer, or off at Amazon. I don't know how great that works, but I know this stuff works good. This polymer, same thing. You're gonna have to probably get it from a hearing place. I'm almost out of this stuff. So you pour it in like this. I'm actually going to mix this into it, and you really don't need a lot of liquid, but we're gonna need more than that. Alright, try that. Alright, so you can see it's coming out clear. Pour some of this in here. Probably a touch more of this. Alright. We're gonna start mixing it up here. As you can see, this is how it's looking. Good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pour this. Actually, I want it a little bit thicker. Oops. That was... probably a little bit too thick. I kind of dropped the ball on that, but you just kind of mess with mixtures and thicknesses and textures until you get what you want. And I think this is about right what I want. So now we will pour this into here. And like I said, we're going to try to make it as thick as possible. So that faceplate will be plenty thick. So that's what that'll look like. I'll actually save that. But now is the the process of just letting it set, and that just takes time. Not too long, but it does take time. So now it is fully cured. It got really hot to where you couldn't even touch it, and now it is cooled down. What we're gonna do is kind of bend this. Alright guys, and that's what you're gonna be left with, a nice, very smooth, slick surface. Now this, in all reality, is way thicker than I really need, but it will be nice knowing that, hey, I've got plenty of room. And as far as the layout goes, I'll probably just cut it diagonally, and that will give me plenty room to, you know, have one faceplate for this side and one faceplate for the other side. Side note that I will show you guys, just kind of as a hack, if you have current in-ear monitors and you notice the fitting is starting to get a little loose, maybe they didn't take impressions right, and you notice, hey, I want it tighter around the back side, or maybe the canal, I want it to fit a little tighter. Something you can do is grab some clear nail polish, and I got Insta Dry because we want it to dry pretty quick so we can use it. But you can literally take nail polish and go along a part that you want to thicken up, and I have used this before, particularly on the first set of ear molds I made for myself. I wanted a tighter fit so I could get, I was losing a lot of low end on my driver for whatever reason, and it had to do with the snugness of the mold. So just kind of a little hack, a cheap hack. We are back today. I'm actually at my office, and I'm going to be finishing up these in-ears today. Last night we had gotten these at a point where I was happy with them. The molds themselves, though, were just a little too loose. I'd prefer it to be really tight. Excuse me. So I've got some different powders here that we're going to be using later, but here is the molds. I dipped them in wax. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remake these molds, and they're going to be a lot thicker, and then we'll just have to grind the inside of these out to where we can fit these all in here again. But I'm going to go over the process since I missed it on the on these ones. So we already dipped these, we know how to do that. Dab of super glue in here. So we will let that all dry for now. So this is the duplicating hydrocolloid. Cut these up into smaller chunks because we're gonna have to melt this. All right, we're gonna go ahead and give this a pour. I think we're cool enough now. If it gets too cool, it won't work right. So hopefully that is fine. We are going to set this in a thing of water just to try to get it to cool down faster. I went ahead, cut this faceplate in half, so now I can work one for each side. And this I also pulled out of the water. When you stick it in the water, you don't want the water coming up over inside. You just want the water around the outside. But let's pull this off and see if I melted the wax, which it doesn't look like it did, which is good. That's what we want. The investment is down inside there. Now it's time to pull this out. Hopefully we can pull this out without the wax coming off. Sometimes it can be a pain because you've got to, the wax ends up coming off and you gotta dig it out. But you can see right there, the wax did not come off. So that means we are golden. Looks like it did start to rip the mold a little bit down inside, probably right here, but that's all right. We'll be able to make that work. Now what we're gonna do is go into the pouring process of the mold itself. So I mixed up this. We've got some pink here, and I threw some black, I guess you could call it sparkles in there. So we'll see if we can get some pink with some black. We're gonna pour the polymer into the monomer mix, and then you will mix it up. So you can see it's a mixture like that. We're gonna have to go more though. Alright. Something like that. We'll put a little more pink in there. Like that. We want it pour it in here. Now this is the part that really only time and experience can get right. You want to get as much of a shell as possible, like a hollow shell, so you don't have to grind out tons and tons, but you want to make sure that it sets up enough to where it doesn't, take the structure out of it. So this is a part where you'll kind of turn it side to side and see how it's setting up, because at some point you will flip these upside down and let them drain out. Now I just want to make sure I get these to the right. I want to make sure I get these right the first time, because I don't want to have to redo these. That's getting about as much as you can let it go without, this one. I may have let these, like I said, go a little too long, but I would much rather at this point have them go and not waste it. pulled it out of the water, you let them sit in there for a while, and they're nice and hard. We will, look at that. You pop it out, and that's exactly what it looks like. Perfect molds right there. So these are going to be very snug compared to these ones, and that's what we want, because we can always take material off of here. It's a lot harder and it takes a lot more time to build it up. So this is perfect. Then what we do, I just cut these tails off. Once we have this off like this, then we determine how high up we want to grind it, and then I'll show you guys in the other room where we actually grind. Now, a couple things with these impressions here, these molds, you'll notice, actually, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you'll see there is a bubble right here. That is most likely from the wax, and right here you'll notice another little bubble. That's actually pretty common. An easy way to get rid of it is to just go like this, and then we'll take a grinder with the Dremel and actually grind it. But you'll notice on some you'll see little just air bubbles. That's what it is. And it could be air bubbles in the hydrocolloid that we dipped. You'll notice right in here, this is probably from the wax being a little too thick. As you saw, we ground it down, and doing it this way where I wanted such a thick pour is going to make a lot more work for us, because we do have to grind all this away to make room for the electronics. So it is going to be a little more work, but at the end of the day I'll be able to get it exactly where I want it, and I have plenty of material. Because we're going to start by going around the outside and just grinding away material that we don't want around this edge. You can kind of see now the idea behind the face plates, and then once we get it on, we can outline this, cut it out, and then kind of have a face plate that will look like that. So that's the idea, but I'm not going to record me grinding this out. You all guys already saw the process of when I was grinding this one out, and that is in there perfectly right how we want it. All we got to do now is fit the face plate, and this one will be ready to go. So now we're gonna go hop on over to this one and get the left one done, but as you can see, I still got a lot of grinding to do, so let's get started. Grab your super glue, and then I run Super glue along right here. You're gonna have to hold this for a couple seconds. My light died, so hopefully, let me see if it'll come back on. Alright, so I got the right one done. I still need to put some material around where the connection is, and also I need to buff this faceplate because I ground it down a little bit, and but that's kind of what it will look like right there. When it's in my ear, you'll only be able to see the teal. You won't be able to see the pink. So, kind of, I don't know, Miami colors maybe, something like, just like beachy sort of vibes. Alright, and now I'm still working on the left one, getting the shell all ground out. That is how we glue the faceplate on, and now we just got to finish trimming up around the edge. Probably grind a little bit of the top off like I did on this one, and then we will be ready to buff it. Alright guys, I just made it back home a little bit ago, grabbed some dinner, but I want to show you guys the difference in my old in-ears and new in-ears. And so here we go. Let's get on the floor here. And these are my new ones that I just made, and they sound really, really good. And these are my old ones that I made. If it'll focus. They're definitely a lot more flashy in your face with all the sparkle I put in. But the fitting wasn't as good, and the drivers aren't as high quality. So it was just one of those things where I play enough to kind of, it started bothering me, just the quality. I wanted better quality, so I went ahead and made these. And these ones, the bass is really good on, and it's just all around better, although I probably like the look of my old ones better. But you know, these will work, and they're good. I can always make new ear molds given my, you know, profession. It's not a big deal for me to take impressions and make a new shell. The nice thing is I could pop these face plates off and just stick the electronics in a new shell. So that's that. These ones I may take apart at some point, but at this point I will keep them in my bag as backup. This is the aftermarket cable that I bought, and I really like this more than this kind. So this is what I use, but this particular connector can be interchangeable with these, or even I've got this pair in here, which is what I started playing with was these. So anyways, I've got 3 different situations or setups going on, but these ones no doubt are going to be the best. So guys, I hope this whole video has been helpful or kind of interesting at the very least. Yeah, it's been fun. I enjoy it. I did want to mention an update with my telly that I built. I did end up putting Lambertone Cremas humbuckers, and oh, it sounds so good now. So that's like probably my favorite for worship style music that I have, at least. And then blues style, by far the Silver Sky PRS, that is amazing. But I think that'll wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not. I would really appreciate it. Give this a like, thumbs up, and if you got any comments below or anything, just put them below. Thank you guys. Peace.